Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Therapist Corner with Alexis.
Sharea.
And we are here today to talk about embodiment as a therapeutic intervention. And this is a webinar that is being led by Sharea. So make sure you go and register for that. It is being offered in March. Also, if you are liking these conversations and you want to continue to hear these conversations, definitely like and subscribe. And also leave some comments. If you want us to talk about other things, specific things, please definitely leave comments so that we can definitely take that into consideration and join in on the discussions. So today we want to talk about embodiment therapy. And my first question is, what is that?
So embodiment is think about the concept of what the body takes in. And so I always say embodiment is just a mind body connection to what we have to process related to the world. And so that could be trauma, it could be anger, it could be hurt, it could be a number of experiences and how it then becomes a part of who we are and a part of our body experience. And the embodiment practices or interventions are just about connecting your mind body connections and finding those sensories, those sensations, those breath, like you'll hear people say breath work, those different methods that you might use to be able to reestablish healing in your body as well as your emotional state.
Okay. So if I have a client and I would like to explore this with them, what are some ways or some practices what might that look like?
So what you might start with is learning how to create an opportunity to do body scans for them to learn the process of what their body is experiencing connected to emotions or connected to a trauma experience that they may have. And so you might just do a simple technique that might just merely be about scanning the body from head to toe while you're thinking about the incident or anger that you might experience and finding out where it's landing, right? So many of us have things like tension in our muscles, tension in our body. Like if we're stressed out, we might feel, or if we feel anxiety, we might feel it in our chest or in our stomach area. And so what embodiment does, or even practices that are mind body connection, what it does is it tries to get you to the point where you can actually learn where is it showing up in my body, and then how can I respond to that and make sure that it feels comfort too as I'm healing and processing some of the things that I might deal with in life.
Okay. And for clients who have experiences, what are some benefits to doing some of
Oh
this
my
work?
goodness, living freely. So I think some of the benefits is recognizing that your body has this way of healing itself in journeys with you. And if we don't address that mind body connection, we also are leaving out a fullness of our healing.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we can be overly processing in our minds or in our thoughts and in our thinking. And then we believe that we're better, but our body is still stuck. And so really what it does, or what some of the benefits are, is being able to see that as I'm healing, I'm also healing my body. As I'm healing, as I'm learning how to process what the trauma has done to impact me and my relationships and the way I navigate the world, I'm also learning how it's impacted my body and how I also need to address that as well. So the benefits is that you're getting a whole body experience of healing. So you're not just healing through your thinking and your thoughts, you're healing through your body and your experience through your body. So I think the best part for me, or how I work, is that it allows for my clients to know that, it's more than just your thinking that was impacted. It's more than just your relationships, but it was your body.
Right.
It's the tension. It's the way that your body holds disease or health issues, or may have a higher level of heart disease or other issues that might be struggling culturally for us. Specifically, when I think about some of the racial trauma work that I do, where does it land in our life in terms of our experience with health? And then how can we start responding to it with embodiment practices such as movement, such as aromatherapy, relaxation techniques, yoga, massages, things that you may think are just like, oh, they're luxuries, but they might have a beneficial need for you specifically related to your experience of trauma. And with a therapist that uses this approach, you allow to connect your body to your experience, and then you're also allowed to heal it. And so I think it just brings this benefit of connecting your full self to your healing. And I just feel like without a holistic approach, this is a personal thought and doesn't have to be considered church, I think without it, you leave out some of the most important parts of your healing.
Mhm. And I think that ties right into my next question and final point. So, for the mental health professionals that are out there and they're hearing about this, they may be hearing about this for the first time. But they definitely want to practice this.
Mhm.
How would I educate myself or prepare myself to be able to practice some of these things with clients?
I personally started by really honing in on somatic healing and the approaches that are that are under them that are mind body related. So things like yoga, things like movement therapy, things like breath work. I would really do a lot of research around which approaches are going to make the most sense with the type of clients that I see, and then also with the body healing that I'm doing personally. Because what you'll find as a therapist, one of the greatest things about this practice is that you get to demonstrate a healing process while also doing it for yourself as well.
Mhm.
And so I think for my clients and myself, I'm going to do the body scan with you so that we can learn how to walk through it.
Mhm.
I'm also going to do some breath work with you while we're demonstrating it in the space. And so to me, part of learning it is also allowing for you to witness and embody what you expect for your client.
Mhm.
And so I don't know if I fully answered your question, but I would hope that I did.
No, you definitely did. And I'm just thinking when you're talking about this, I'm thinking of maybe some like when we talk about decolonizing
Absolutely.
therapy, and it sounds more of an indigenous way of healing and treatment. So I'm just thinking like who would this work for? Or if it works for everyone, who would this you be like, I wouldn't use this with this type of client?
Oh my goodness. So I think that really goes down to your assessment stage when you're working with clients, really being able to know that if you're going to incorporate this type of approach, you also need to have the consent of your client.
Mhm.
And so I think I will not say who it will work with. I think it's about having the consent of your client to practice and determine how it will work with
Okay.
them. Because I feel very strongly that it is beneficial for us all because we have bodies.
Mhm.
However, there are some people who might not be able to handle it because they're fixed in the thinking of it.
Mhm.
And they're fixed in the therapy presents like this, and this is how therapy
Right.
should look.
Okay.
And so for me, I think as a therapist, you also have to challenge yourself outside the box of what therapy looks like,
Mhm.
right? Because sometimes it does mean that, we're going to get down on the floor and we're going to stretch,
Mhm.
right? And we're going to actually use our bodies to be able to move, right? Because I love some of the incorporation of dance and art and things into therapy because it allows for people to have a freedom of expression while
Mhm.
also releasing some of the anxiety or pain from the traumas they
Mhm.
experience. So I don't know if there is a wrong client, right?
Okay.
Because I think you should assess out things like, are they currently actively having a high level of stress in certain areas where they're body. I also think some things require them to go to doctors first before you can actually continue to do certain types of body work.
Mhm.
Also, some people knees can't do certain things. Like, so you want to make sure you've done a full assessment to determine what is the right way that I can incorporate mind body connection for this particular client. Because for some, it's going to be full out movement and dance and just breathing and letting go. See, I'm naturally wisdom, right? And then for others, it's going to be let's sit still and just breathe with a deepness that goes from inhaling and filling up our stomach and then exhaling as if we're sighing.
Mhm.
That's going to be just as powerful for one person as another person movement might be. So it really is about doing the assessment, getting your own level of comfort with this approach, and being open to going past just the normal breathing or the normal uh, techniques of counting down to 10 and really starting to think, what could I incorporate to bring this person to the next level of mind body connection?
Mhm. And in your webinar, are you going to be giving some of those techniques?
Absolutely not. It's funny because the webinar is only 1 hour, so I had to crunch a lot. And so I really will be giving the definitions and I'll give the alternatives that you can try to attempt. And probably by the end, we'll do a body scan, but I won't be able to do all of it because it's really literally an hour. And I want to be able to define, give examples and benefits and research and all those good things. But I will be giving you a full list of strategies that you can start looking into to see which is your best ones, right? So I'll talk about aromatherapy. I'll talk about sensation, like the 5-4, how people use the 5-4-3-2-1, but how important it is to also know that they could use just one real focus if that person is doing well at that to help them. Like, so I'll talk about the different strategies and the types of embodiment practices and interventions. But because of time, I will not be dancing for y'all. But maybe next time.
Maybe on another webinar. Come on, if y'all want that.
You never know. I might show you how to twerk it out. Because it is an important part of the journey. So because I mean, that's a whole nother issue, like where the trauma source itself is related to our experiences of trauma. And so as much as we don't see it, there are benefits to twerking, right? There's benefits to releasing from that pelvis area and thrusting back and forth so that you can release. So there's some benefits that, you know, like it or not, are just not about sitting and talking to each other. Sometimes it's about moving with them. So, I mean, working with young people, I get to.
I say, well, y'all heard it from the guru, okay? That dropping it for the 99 and 2000s is therapeutic and essential. Exactly. So y'all heard it here first. So
that's good to know why you're doing it, though, because there is that benefit of connecting it mind body and not it just being a performance, because that part is important too. And helping our clients to know that twerking might be cool, but it might not be the thing that's going to help you.
Right.
Right. And so being able to really help guide our clients toward the right thing for their body is really important to me. And also knowing that some of those practices are just beneficial across the board, like the twerking, the yoga, the muscle relaxing, and also massages, depending on what types your body can handle. Like those types of things are needed for most of us. It's just about learning what are sensations we can take from our trauma experiences.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Because yoga may not be for me, but a twerkout session?
There you go. Why
might
not?
Be for me.
Why not? So we'll see. Maybe we get her to get up and do part of the class with us one day. So if we go past an hour, another time, we never know.
So thank you guys for listening and liking and subscribing, and we will see you guys next time.
All right. Be well.